Long time no videos on this channel. I got I got job again, back on the same base that I retired out of. So there was a lot of things that I was talking to my buddies about, and there was a bunch of planes that went down. You probably all know about that. However, I wanna I wanna share a gem with you. It's this guy right here, not the Putin guy, but this bold guy. And not even sure how to put myself. I'm gonna put myself over him, just. But this is the guy. He does this, pretty much almost like what I'm doing, but he's watching the videos, and a bunch of Russians sending him videos. His channel called Deceived Russian, meaning Russian that been deceived by government, right? He obviously he doesn't live in Russia, so he kind of. I'll put myself over him, so we'll do this right here. So it's him and me, and I'll be kind of telling you all what's he saying. But this guy, he about 3 years ago, kind of started watching him, and he gave me this feeling of this disappointed Soviet citizen. Like, he would criticize Russian government, but not for the right things, for the things that what they did to legacy of Soviet Union, right? Which is a completely different story. But anyway, after the invasion, he changed completely. So he kind of like just talks what's going on in Russia mostly. And look, you got this going on in Russia right now, but for some reason you decided to go to war thinking that somehow it's gonna make your life better. Well, this guy's life, I don't think even his life got better, but because obviously he couldn't do it in 3 days with the whole Ukraine like it was Crimea. But anyway, so here is actually Putin. This guy, he's talking, he's bragging how his troops took out, and verbatim he says 19 little houses in the outskirts of Avdiivka. Avdiivka is where the hottest battle's going on. You probably heard if you tracking all this stuff. It's right next to Donetsk. It's been a thorn in Putin's back, or whatever side, for a while, because it's literally my spouse is from Avdiivka, and her dad walked from Avdiivka to Donetsk. You could actually walk, not since 2014, because there was the major bridge that you had to walk through. That bridge was blown up, so now you can't walk. Now it's like hour of driving around. But anyway, so he says our troops took over and keep holding on to 19 houses. I'm not sure if it's just those village houses on the outskirts or the big apartment buildings, but I think it's houses, like little houses, and it's not a single family home like what you might imagine living in the Western world. It's just like okay, so anyway, that's not what I wanted to show you. He's talking about a bunch of things, and this one was funny, and everybody's clapping. And he's saying this is greatest achievement of Putin, right? He took 19 houses. So he's showing some general or some other clown that marching to get his award from his commander, right? So Russia's marching, right? It's not Pakistani marching or Indian marching at the border. You probably saw them. They like, I don't know, they're doing some backflips and everything, but they do have to march like weirdos, like basically like stick your leg up. You probably saw it on the parades and everything. They have some kind of a technique behind that, and even I kind of know it. It's almost close to what we do in the US, right? When you put your left foot up, your kind of right arm goes out, you put your left foot right. No, it's, even though in the US we're marching, right, your arms should kind of follow your natural swing or whatever, but this is general marching. He's like, so he doesn't know what's going on there and everything. So it's just funny. And plus, this is how generals or colonel and above in Russian army looks like. Mostly, it's the guys who know how to steal stuff from the army to sell it, how to use conscripts to build their dachas, meaning their houses and all that, their single-family homes. But so you see the obese, basically, right? But I mean, U.S. generals, they actually stay in shape better than some of the privates. Not some, many and many of the privates. Here in 4th ID, I know when you come to 4th ID, they schedule a little PT session with the command, meaning the general, commanding general, 2-star commander of the 4th Infantry Division, and his sergeant major. His sergeant major is like ex-ranger and blah blah blah, infantry guy for 30 years, and they do PT with all the newcomers once a month. And general is always fit guy. He's even when we do like a division runs, right, general's always up front and he's setting the pace. This is Russian general, so whatever. But anyway, that's one thing. He just shows all this, kind of ridicules the Russia, and also shows all this unfortunate stuff that's happening. Like right here, I'm not gonna interpret this because it's the guy that shows, here's the Russian Orthodox Church. It's their temple. They call it temple. It says opened. So he's like, this is temple, and right across the street is like a beer bar. But that's what he was showing, and he's like...
Самый престижный вуз, МФТИ.
But anyway,
С самым низким в истории проходным
here's
баллом.
what I wanted to show
Его
you.
отчислили. Военный
So,
госпиталь.
this is the military hospital. This is what I want to show you. And I've been to our army hospitals, right? I mean, I worked at the field hospital, which is your normal hospital in a tent. We have the operation rooms, we have ICU, ICW, we have X-rays, we have the MRI machines, we have everything. So it's a role 3 hospital, meaning it's away from the battlefield. So your medic on the battlefield, that's your role 1. Charlie Med, meaning on the bases in the battlefield, but outside of actual, like outside the battlefield where your main base is, there's a medic, there's a doctor, there's a surgeon. They stabilize the patient, and then they send them to role 3, meaning it's our role 3s, for example, in Kuwait, right? So from Iraq, they send them to Kuwait, they get them better, and then if they need to, they send them to role 4, meaning Walter Reed or Landstuhl in Germany. Those are big modern hospitals. I've been to Landstuhl for 2 weeks. I was there for some accident that happened in the field. I had to do the surgery and blah blah blah. And then I've been to Walter Reed. I've been to old Walter Reed, and then just to see a doctor there. Then I was in a Bethesda Walter Reed, which was way worse for the doctors, because in the Walter Reed, doctors had those big offices with the big desks that colonel would be sitting there. It's like old school building, and then they moved to Bethesda. It's a modern building with cubicles, so like a normal hospital. But where the patients are, where the soldiers are, there's a recovery units in Walter Reed, right? In San Antonio, there's a burn unit in the BAMC, so that's where all the burn victims, all the soldiers that get blown up and catch some fire, they got to go there. So they have recovery for that. Walter Reed, that's all prosthetics and all that. So when I was there, I seen all these guys who's recovering and all that. They live in a nice hospital settings. Plus, they're trying to make them a little more like, because they stay in there. Some of them stay in there for a year or 2, especially those guys in the burn units and the prosthetics recovery and all that. This is the equivalent. It's not in Moscow, but it's in, like what he was saying, it's 200 kilometers from Moscow, so less than 100 miles.
Второй армии мира.
So it's city of Ryazan. So I want to pause it every once in a while. So this is the soldier, right? That, well, I don't want to call them soldiers, but fine, soldiers. A Russian guy that was sent from Ukraine to this thing. This is the ceiling. So this is the light. That's your, the normal thing, but look at that stuff.
Он 200 километров от Москвы.
So that's what he's saying, 200 kilometers from Moscow. I guess that's the bad. And that's, I told you in one of the videos, in one of the previous videos, how you are in Russian hospital, how you actually be in any Russian hospital. It's like, it's just a room without any medical, anything. It's just a room. With those beds don't have like mattresses that what you think, right? They're not raising up legs and no, they just old Soviet like mesh, like sagging mesh. So it's like army maybe bed. So no equipment plugged in. So to get your treatment, you have to get up, walk. Nobody's gonna wheel you out of there. If they will wheel you, if they really need you wheel you out of there, they'll just toss you in a wheelchair or something, and then they will take you to a room that's called procedures room. So if you need to get anything done, they will take you there, right? I know in the US hospitals, if they need to do x-ray, they'll basically, you leave on your bed, they'll roll you in this bed if they have to roll you out, but there's all this equipment that will take your vitals and all that. It's in a room with you. That's not in Russia, and this is the military hospital.
Госпиталь.
So that's a Soviet building. You can tell by thick walls and this 6 windows. That's the Stalin era, built in like 30s.
Военный.
So there's some civilian female probably came to
Нашим
visit,
президентом госпиталь.
and he's saying that Putin was praising this hospital. He said this is the hospital that Putin was praising.
Такое ощущение, что сюда 120-я или 155-я прилетела.
He's saying it almost feels like we cut 155 up in here. 155 mean artillery round, that NATO artillery round. So there's another room, like I guess room next to it. There's no showers in these rooms. There's no bathrooms in these rooms. The bathroom's gonna be all the way down the hallway. It's just one for the whole floor. And I'm not even sure about showers. Maybe he'll show us.
Дум.
So there's this bunk beds. And he's saying it's really cold here.
Смотрите, что это за госпиталь такой? Какого ВК здесь может...
And he's saying, what kind of a hospital is this? What kind of a recovery can you get in here? Even Russians who grew up in all this kind of guessing about it, right?
вообще приводиться в целом.
He can't film it correctly, but there's a bed outside in the hallway, so that's like overflow. Look at that, all that.
Это Рязань.
So this could be that procedural room that I was telling you about. If you thought that they were just staying in that little room, in the big room, right? It was 10 people in that room, snoring, farting and everything, right? And you're staying there for weeks at a time. If you think you're gonna go to some fancy room where all the medical equipment is and all that, no, you go into this room right here. In this room, doctor will bring like a little metal thing, probably since Soviet days, where there would be like pills and your shots and all that, and they'll get you in this room, they'll stuck you with the needle or whatever, do your vitals. The only what tells me that it is a procedural room or something, it's the flowers. However, it could be a smoking area too. They put flowers in the smoking area, so it could be, but I mean, this would be the procedural room too. This bucket right here kind of tells me maybe it's a smoking room.
Здание годов 30-х.
Oh no, it's a hallway. Okay, never mind. So this is the nurse.
Чуть-чуть попозже вас позовут, что-то он у нас совсем разрядился.
А, вот оно что.
Да, что-то не так.
And she's saying something they will call you because some equipment got the battery died or something. I don't know what she's talking
Не
about.
может, да, осуществить ЭКГ. А я почему-то
Oh,
не удел-
EKG equipment battery died, so they cannot do it right now. They'll call him later for that.
Весы об одном только говорят, все. Не все понятно с весами.
He's saying this is the scale, right? This is what you can judge this whole building by this scale, which is I'm not understanding why, just because this equipment from 1930s. But I mean, in the army we're using this type of scale. So when we do height and weight and all that, we're using these scales just because this counterweight or whatever, it's more accurate. In the army we have to do it on the accurate calibrated scales, so we cannot use those bathroom digital stuff, because then the height and weight can be disputed, and if someone is overweight and army starts process to kick him out or her out or something like that, they can go to legal, and legal will say was it a legit scale or not, was it calibrated or not. So these scales are the most calibratable scales, so I don't know why he's bitching
Да.
about this.
Весы о многом говорят.
And this guy also says that the scale, but you can tell it's 100 years old, maybe even more.
Какая армия? Такой госпиталь.
He's saying that the way the army is, the same way as the hospital, basically, but he's doing a sarcasm
Подписчица
thing.
прислала фотографии.
So here he's kind of praising Ukraine, because he's saying that's what one of my subscribers sent me a picture of Ukrainian business owner, like there's just been a siren, the air raid siren, and as soon as the siren was over, he comes out to break the ice near his business, so because people walk right here, which is normal, right? For the US, we always shovel our door walkways and all that in case we get like UPS delivery. We don't want them to slip and fall and blah blah blah. But
Это Киев. 8 часов утра. 7 минут назад прозвучал отбой.
why he's saying that? Because he's from Russia. He's Russian. This is like crazy for Russians, I guess. They don't do that.
Тревоги.
They do.
Мужчина
He's showing
вышел
right now.
убрать лед, который накапал с его кондиционера на дорожку, по которой ходят люди. В каких условиях жить? Это ведь выбор народа, а не властей.
They saying, it's not, Russia's not living in it garbage because of the Russian governments, because the people are like, if we all gonna start from ourselves and we start acting right, everything's gonna be right in the country, which is kind of correct, but not for Russia. It's completely different. It's
Вот это видео прислала подписчица.
and then
Балашихи.
and then he shows this from Balashikha. Balashikha is like a Moscow region, so it's basically like you take Washington DC as a Moscow, and Arlington would be Balashikha. So basically it's like in DC area, right? Or you take, I don't know, Fairfax, North Virginia, it's still kind of like DC area, but not like dead center of Moscow. But this is ice inside the apartment building hallway, and that's how most of Russians live in the apartment buildings, which is like you go up the stairs and there's going to be 4 apartments on each side, basically projects, right? If you want to know how Russians live, they all live in projects, although projects in US are kind of like low income, right? There's all income.
Вечером мы собрали. Это Балашиха, Московская область, рядышком с Москвой, здесь Горьковка.
Oh, no. Okay, so she's showing the under road pathway, whatever that's called. It's like a tunnel so that you don't walk over because it's heavy traffic there. I mean, Moscow region is heavy traffic everywhere. So you go under. In the US, we build the paths over, right? Like a bridge is going over highways. So they build it under Soviet days. So she's showing this. It's not apartment. I'm sorry.
Ну, вот у нас зима, ничто не расчищается.
Look at that. This is where a bunch of people should be walking. Like it's right in Moscow. It's
Подземные переходы новые, совершенно недавно
all this dirt and stuff.
Вот в таком состоянии.
Ice.
Чтобы подняться по нему, конечно, нужно особые навыки. Но
She's saying you have to have a certain set of skills to get up.
Самые сильные.
Да.
So you saw that long tunnel, like looked like some kind of a movie from imagine walking in there, right, and like some monster running like Evil Dead or whatever, something. all this right here. This is Russia. This is like,
Сильных.
Да, это специально сделано, чтобы россияне были самые сильные. Чтобы кости после
Okay, is there-
переломов срастались и становились
oh, what?
еще
This guy
сильнее.
shows how he lives in apartment. There's apartment. Let's watch this. And I was gonna show just the hospital, but and you will let me know.
Мистер финансов.
Специально для Мантон.
So this right here.
Ну, конечно, подъезд Нидерланд.
So this is the entrance in the apartment building.
При входе в подъезд.
This is like, I guess, to wipe your feet. And this bald guy, he says like, oh, I can even smell through the screen.
Тряпочка при входе, которую никто 24 года не стирал. Запах через экран прям чувствую. Так мило.
По-домашнему.
So yeah, so this stair, so that stair goes in the basement. They put the cage in there so the kids don't go in there and don't, I don't know, don't sniff some glue or something down there. So that stairs up, that goes to the first floor, and there's going to be 4 apartments in there.
Ну, там подвал у нас.
You're all welcome. Now you wanna buy that game, right?
А кубики? Надо ж 7 куб...
Yeah, so he's saying like, that's actually good. They still have this little tiles, because mostly Russian kids, they just like peel them off and whatever, do something
Только
with
вы
them.
говорите из плитки.
He's saying
Это
about it.
святое.
Ну, конечно, ковра нету.
So you see, that's the apartment door. So this thing is would have the electricity monitor things, whatever they call it. I don't even know, but basically that thing that keeps rolling and showing how much electricity you're using. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, so 1 for each apartment. This is door for this apartment. They're all gonna be metal doors. They're all gonna be double metal doors. Well, metal outside, the normal like wooden door on the inside, just because of the break-ins and everything that's going on there.
Такая вот лампочка.
So that's the light bulb. That's, again, this is normal Russian apartment. Okay, average Russian apartment. There probably will be better ones, but this is average. This is not the nastiest ones. That's just normal. You go to Russia, God forbid, you go to Russia to visit wherever, right? And like a random friend or wherever, I don't know why would you go, but this is where you would end up, and that's where you would go and ring the bell. Next to that door right here, there would be like a bell. You ring it, and and the same setup on the second floor and the third and the fifth and sixth and ninth and 12th, and yeah, so these things, they were used for all kinds of stuff, to stash in there. When I was a kid, just you open in there, you stash something, the guy comes in after you, picks it up, like whatever.
Вот, проходим дальше.
So that's the apartments. This is one apartment, this is second apartment, there's third, there's fourth, and this is how you go home. Like, why Russians are always like, they actually make it like a bad thing that Americans don't take shoes off in their house sometimes. Well, not maybe in their house, but when you go to somebody's house, like, most likely you're not gonna take shoes off, and they will tell you don't take your shoes off because it's weird. I mean, where did you walk? You sat in your car, you walked inside your house, inside your garage to get into your car, you drive to the driveway is always clear. But look at this is just right outside the door, right outside the living space, like basically like this is the front porch right here. So that's the door.
Так,
That's
вот
that
лампочка.
electricity thing. They're lucky they have the light bulbs. Those light bulbs are always being stolen by other people from second apartment building, because they want that light bulb to put in there, or kids stealing them or something, so they would put them in like this crudely made up cage with a lock. Yeah,
Изолента не было, да. Вот
but this, you can see, this is how the electricians did this.
жалко.
And you saw the stick just propping it out so it doesn't hang like leaning on the wall.
Ну, вот такой вот у нас палас, чтобы соседи не будили. Немножко с дырочками.
So that's your apartment. You walk out, you go right
В
in it.
2024 году
Yeah.
был капремонт подъезда.
Oh, and he's saying a month ago, this apartment building had the total remodel by the so every Russian pays every month. They pay the money for the complete remodeling of their apartments. I mean, they're still Soviet apartments built during the Khrushchev years. They were actually made only the last 50 years. Even during the Khrushchev, they will make them. They were saying, we're gonna build them after 50 years. We're gonna achieve the communism. We're not gonna need that. We're gonna build something greater. Blah blah blah. Flying cars or whatever. And yeah, so they way past due. So they just kind of like, you know, putting lipstick on a pig or whatever, lipstick on a corpse. So they remodeling this house. So he's saying in 2024, this apartment building was remodeled. So you're looking at the remodeled apartment building.
Саперная 21.
And he's telling the address.
Капремонт произвели, наверное, месяц назад.
He's saying 1 month ago.
Месяц назад ремонт был.
So yeah, so you see, this is apartment, this is apartment, this is apartment. This is the. I think projects better. Like honestly, I haven't been to projects in the U.S., but like talking to to the guys who from projects, in the army, there's a lot of guys from different walks of life, and yeah, I mean there are problems in the projects, but the same problems over there. There could be a drug addict right here cooking up meth, straight up. There could be a grandma making moonshine, guaranteed. In every building there would be one just making moonshine for themselves or for the sale. So those who make it for sale, there will be a stream of people up and down the stairs. Like if you live right here, there will be unsavory people just going to knock on this door to buy some moonshine. Know it from experience, right? When I was younger, we would go and try to buy moonshine. You just go to regular apartment building. You just know that this is the spot where the guy cooks the moonshine, right? And you can go and buy it. And you go in there, there could be sometimes even a little line. Like you see the guy stands there like leaning on this wall right here, or on this wall, right? And you're like, hey, are you in line? He's like, yeah, because there's already a guy inside and getting his transaction happen, right, or wherever. So you, for example, live with a kid, with your family right here in this apartment, and this is what it is. There's a family with a little children living in this apartment, so they have to walk out on this right here, past this guy who will be standing there waiting for the buying moonshine, right? There could be drunk guys just sitting there warming up in this, because many people, kids, teenagers, would be sitting on those stairs, just sometimes even playing guitar or whatever, and you have to go through all that. So yeah, you all let me know if you want me to show this guy a little more. And he shows some interesting stuff that I try to explain my friends here in the US. They don't understand what I'm saying, like this whole moonshine situation. If I try to explain it, of course you would imagine it just like putting that situation into your reality here in the US, right? Like I would imagine like right outside my house there would be somebody cooking moonshine. It would be weird. You can't explain it. You have to see these pictures and all that. So anyway, just to enlighten you about some things that going on in Russia, just because Russia is doing this on the major TV channels about the US every day. So they'll find something really, really bad about US and blow it up and say, this is the whole America. So they would find some bomb on the street somewhere. Look what happens in America. Americans go hungry. Something like that. So just want a little leverage. I want average American to think about Russia the way that average Russian thinks about America. Mostly, well, I don't know how that's gonna work out actually. That's a bad idea. Till the next one.